15th, Select Board meeting at 5 o'clock right now. This meeting is being recorded by Marshfield Community Media. Is there anybody in the audience that is recording? I see none. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we have a 5 o'clock appointment with, for a town administrator interview with Charles Sumner. There was supposed to be another person, but they could not do it. So, Mr. Sumner, can you hear us?
I can hear loud and clear. Hopefully you can hear me as well.
You sound loud and clear in here, so hopefully that continues. And I'll just give a brief overview of what you sent us in your resume, if you don't mind. Mr. Charles L. Sumner, who lives in Brewster, profile, good communicator who values open government and democratic processes, a team-oriented manager with a passion for leadership and public service, results-oriented problem solver who welcomes challenges, an accomplished local government manager and leader with expertise in the following areas: budget and capital planning, organizational development, financial management, human resources management, emergency management, project management, strategic planning, policy facilitation, economic development, intergovernmental relations. Mr. Sumner's professional experience: Director of Operations at Harwich Conservation Trust from February 2025 to the present. He was a interim town manager for the town of Provincetown, Mass. from August 2020 to April 2021. Interim town administrator, town of Wellfleet, Mass. from May 2021 to June 2022. And interim town administrator, town of Orleans, Mass. January 2023 to August 2023. He was a project manager outreach coordinator for Weston and Sampson Engineers Incorporated, July 2019 to June 2021. Executive Director, Pleasant Bay Community Boating, March 2016 to January 2019. Town Administrator, Town of Brewster, Mass., October 1986 to October 2015. Town Administrator, Town of Littleton, Mass., October 1981 to October 1986. Acting Town Manager, Town of Acton, Mass., May 1981 to October 1981. Administrative Assistant, Town of Acton, Mass., June 1980 to May 1981. Community Safety Planner, Town of Arlington, Mass., July 1979 to April 1980. He has education from Northeastern University, Masters in Public Administration, June of 1980. And Suffolk University, Boston, Mass., Bachelor of Arts, June 1977. Current community service, town moderator for the town of Brewster, board president for the Brewster Conservation Trust, board of directors for the Cape Cod Conservation District, co-chair in the Facilities and Grounds Committee for Pleasant Bay Community Boating, and participated in numerous fundraising activities for not-for-profit organizations. So, Mr. Sumner, is there anything else you would like to add for yourself on this?
I think the only thing I'd like to add is that, I've obviously been a town administrator in, many different capacities for almost 40 years now. And, and as you can see from my resume, I continue to be engaged and active in the community that I live in, Brewster, Massachusetts, as the town moderator. So, local government to me is, just passion, and, the relationships that I've created through all this service are really important to me. And I think that, you can see I've actually been retired, from Brewster for 10 years now. And then, honestly, I had been a town administrator for 36 years. And I needed a change. And Pleasant, I am active sailor, and Pleasant Bay Community Boating was just a nice opportunity for me to do something a little bit different. So while I don't work there any longer, I still volunteer. But, getting back involved in local government as an interim manager has really been rewarding. It's all of the things that local government was always important to me. Working collaboratively with citizens and community to identify issues and work in a team-oriented manner to solve problems. So anyway, I was approached as a woman, Rebecca Ruffley, who's doing some contract work for the town of Mashpee. Rebecca and I worked together in Wellesley, and she had told me about this interim position in Mashpee. I think the only thing that I should be very frank with all of you is that I do go away for the winter, and I will be leaving for about 5 weeks on January 20th. But as I was talking to Peter, the current interim town administrator, you're actively engaged in a search process now. As I understand it, you've hired the Collins Center. Your committee is up and running and active. So that's the only issue I think that I just want to be very frank about that could be challenging for me serving your community if you decide to appoint me to this position.
So you said you'd be going away from January into February for 5 weeks?
January, you typically leave about January 20th, and it's for approximately a month. And I would say, in the past, when I worked for the town of Orleans, I did work remotely for the town of Orleans when I was away. So if there were still issues and tasks that had to be done, and that was a viable option for Mashpee, for Marshfield, I would offer that as an alternative. But that's an issue that I just want to be very, very direct with you about.
Andy, how are we looking on the Town Administrative Search Committee? You don't mind coming up before we...
Thank you, Mr. Chair and select board members. I'm happy to report that we've had a lot of progress in a short amount of time. I'm very proud of my committee. We are working well together, and we are just now in the process of reviewing the applications that the Collins Center has provided. And I'm happy to report it's going to be difficult to put some of these people before you because they are wonderful. It will be a difficult choice to narrow them down for the select board to do their interviews and make a selection. I think going forward for the community of Marshfield, we are going to be in very good shape, Mr. Kelly.
How many applications do
you some of this, you're putting me in a position that we're not speaking too much with the media. There's reasons for that. Some of that has to do with the applicants.
Yep.
We're very reluctant. It's not that we have anything to hide. It's just a matter of protocol. We're protecting the candidates. We want them to continue to
Okay, I
enthusiastic.
understand that.
So I respectfully decline
No,
to
that's fine.
answer.
So in regards to Mr. Sumner's situation here, do you think you're gonna have somebody before us before January?
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to report, I think, yes. And we'll have someone for the select board to interview a few candidates and then you'll make the selection going forward. We don't select, we just screen,
Right.
and then we will provide them to you.
Okay, so,
But I'm optimistic that I don't see it being a problem.
okay, that's all I want to know. Did you have any questions from Steve?
Just one quick comment and question. So for your benefits for the meeting minutes, that's Andy Wenning. He's the chair of the Citizen Search Committee for the new town administrator. Is Wening. And he doesn't bite. He's very nice. So,
Thank you, Mr. Darcy. I probably should have introduced myself.
no, you're good. So just to drive home, by January 20th, you're pretty confident that you'll have a final slate of candidates to recommend to the select board, and that should fit within your timetable.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Great,
You good? Trish?
bring it.
Thank you.
So I just got a couple of questions. I mean, you're the only candidate, and I'm like, something, why really push it? But in regards to being a town administrator or a town manager, what do you think, what was your toughest challenge in that position?
Well, to me, it's the multiple issues and problems that our communities are facing, and how you manage, all of the various boards, committees, and departments in sort of, walking down that path of trying to deal with a budget, satisfying all the various demands and issues. And so to me, I always spent just a tremendous amount of time on financial planning, a multi-year capital plan, a multi-year financial forecast. And I would work with all the various boards, committees, and departments, to educate them on what the capacity of the town was. And I think that, the biggest issues is no surprises, making sure that everyone has the same set of information, facts, and issues, and that as you kind of deal with, what is always a really busy season in the fall and the winter, putting together a town budget and a town warrant, making sure that, in the case of the select board, you have all the facts and information that you need to make important, policy decisions. Taking a look at the town charter for Marshfield, you have a lot of elected boards, committees, and departments, which is perfectly fine, but you want to make sure that everyone has the same level of information, and, as we go down these, public policy conversations that are really leading up until your April town meeting. And I always, to me, you think about it, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of collaborations, a lot of communication, getting ready for town meeting. But that's the opportunity to show citizens that, you've worked together, you've collaborated, and you're presenting a proposal to the legislative body that's well thought out and well put together. So, it's just, I think it's really a matter of keeping everybody informed and keeping the departments engaged and aware of what the challenges, and really in this case, that the elected select board is trying to deal with as they, analyze proposals, make final decisions to present to their voters.
What do you think you bring to Marshfield that you believe will help the town overall for the time that you're here?
Well, I think, the only thing you can see from my resume, I've worked in a number of different communities as an interim manager over the last several years. And I do think it's important for an interim, when that person, he or she steps in there, that you've got to quickly sort of learn the culture and the different officials that are involved in the decision-making process, So I think, you know, in all the communities I've worked in, there have been a lot of challenges, particularly Wellfleet. That was my longest interim position. And, you know, Wellfleet had horrific fiscal problems that they were dealing with. And I had to bring in 3 other retired finance officials, and we reconstructed every single financial transaction over a 3-year period. They hadn't closed their books for that period of time. They hadn't got free cash certified. So, you know, I think that, you know, the experiences I've had in these different communities, I think it has kind of created a situation where I really worked to identify how a community functions, who needs to be involved, and making sure that everyone has the same basis of information. And I think it also even, you know, I've worked with a lot of select board members over my whole career, and I can't imagine how many I've worked for, but it's well over 100. And, you know, it's important for all the select board members to have the same information at the same time. And I think that, you know, obviously I was fortunate. I served as a town administrator in Brewster for almost 30 years. And I think that, you know, the reason I had success in Brewster, you know, I was surrounded by a lot of good people, but I also made sure that everyone had the same information at the same time. And I have, you know, obviously it's important for you to check my background and experiences, but I have talked to a number of local officials, and it seems that Marshfield is blessed with a lot of really committed and wonderful department heads. And you know, during these periods of transition, they're the glue. Staff, department heads, boards and committees are the glue that keep the community, you know, moving forward and accomplishing important goals.
I've had this discussion, especially with a couple of articles coming up for an override or debt exclusion. You said in Brewster, you put together a capital expenditure program that you have about $1.5 million in it. And I've been inquiring about that regards, especially with many potential projects coming down the pipeline towards us. How important is it to have a capital expenditure program, and how would you assess on how much to have in the capital fund?
Well, you know, it's a huge task, right? You do have a multi-year capital plan now. I did take a quick look at that. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. So I think it's really important to make sure that that plan is accurate and defined in a deliberate manner. You know, Brewster, you know, the way we managed our fiscal policies in Brewster is, you know, the reality is you do need an operating override and some capital overrides periodically. We used our multi-year financial plan to sort of to pace those. And so I typically would look at an operating override every 6 to 8 years. And I made that a community-wide operating override with schools and town departments so that I could build support and educate the public about the importance of that. On the capital side, it's really the same issue. I know it appears to me that you have a plan where you use quite a bit of your free cash, certified free cash, to finance your capital plan and many of your special projects. So it's really, it's important to be able to take a look at those resources and prioritize where you're going to use them. The larger projects, major building projects, you know, you're going to need a debt exclusion, and that's really important to prep and plan and educate your community. I I sort of had I was in Brewster so long that, when I first arrived in Brewster in 1986, really all of our public infrastructure was inadequate and needed a huge investment. Well, obviously, the community can't afford to do those all at once. So we really prioritized by working with different town officials, and then created a plan that added, established how much debt was reasonable for, in this case, Brewster to manage, and we worked all of our capital plans into a multi-year financing plan. So it's really a deliberate process. It just takes a lot of time and energy. But it seems like, to me, you have the basis all of those things already. And I was taking a look at your town meeting warrants for the last couple of years. They seem well put together. You have a pretty detailed financial forecast that you include with your town meeting warrant. So it seems like you have a lot of those tools already in place.
Yeah, I think the one tool that we're missing, I think, is a capital expenditure fund, I think, is the big one. The whole thing is that we have I think we got like 4 or 5 debt exclusions running right now, with more to come down the pipeline. And the one thing I'm hearing from a lot of people in town is that it's getting quite expensive to live here. And the whole thing is that we gotta find a way to get around, to get the funding in place for these debt exclusions and everything. And because you're hearing it from everybody that you can't afford the taxes anymore, and we need to find somewhere to give the people a break, so.
Yeah, I think that, the only thing I'd say about that is many of the larger projects that I worked on in Brewster, I was pretty sensitive to that, and the community's ability to support local government. And what I used to do in that capital plan is I used to design it so that, for example, I did a major 5-year capital improvement program to the Stony Brook Elementary School, and it was about a $6 million infrastructure improvement over that period of time. And I put money away in our reserves so that I really avoided a debt exclusion. So I do that whenever it's possible, but it's really, the only way you really can do that is to have a sort of a longer term perspective on, reserving revenues and putting them aside as a project was coming along. Brewster just, I was actually the chair of the Cape Cod Technical Vocational High School Building Committee right after I retired, and that was just such a huge project that it required a debt exclusion, by I think in our case, 12 communities. So sometimes you do need a debt exclusion, but I think if you can manage some of the smaller projects using free cash and a capital stabilization fund, it takes the pressure off, too many override debt exclusions.
All right, I'm gonna end my questions right there. Steve, you have any questions for Mr. Sumner?
Yes, Mr. Sumner, so, right, you have a lot of experience underneath your belt as both a full-time town administrator and then a lot of experience as an interim TA as well. So I'm sure, right, there are big picture, long-term issues that a full-time TA has to address versus kind of triage or what an interim TA has to prioritize. So I'm sure some of these issues are kind of going to be facing the next TA, and you're going to focus on what you can while you're here on an interim basis. So I just kind of wanted to get to some of the meat and potatoes and some of the important details, such as, how many hours could you commit to the town each week as an interim TA? Would it be a mixture of in-person and remote? And what's your typical hourly rate?
So ideally, I'd like to look at approximately a 4-day work week. And if you needed that, I know your current interim, I think, is working 25 hours a week. So what I've done in all of the 4 communities, the 3 communities that I've worked in as the interim, I've usually worked 3 days at town hall, and then a combination of one day remotely. And if there was a requirement for night meetings, then I would do those as well. That's really up to you. I would say that, you know, relative to being the interim town administrator, you know, I answer my phone 7 days a week. So if there's an issue that needs my attention, I will pick up the phone. And I will respond to emails, you know, with care and a deliberate nature. So, you know, it's an important job. You know, I've always said to the select board that I've worked for as the interim, you know, that it is in fact true that when you have an interim, you're going backwards a little bit. You know, when I worked as the Brewster Town Administrator, I worked 60 to 65 hours a week, and it's just what it took to do the job. And so it's important to get a permanent town administrator in place as soon as possible. It seems like your committee is actively involved and is in a good position. I would also say that, I don't think you need me, but I did serve on the search committees as a volunteer in Provincetown, Wellfleet, and New Orleans. And I just felt like that was something that, you know, I had a professional obligation to do. If I can be of any assistance to the search committee, I would do that, and I would do it on a volunteer basis. Relative to the hourly rate, I would propose an hourly rate of $105 per hour.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, all that tracks pretty similarly or relatively in the ballpark of what we're doing with Peter right now, so that's very helpful to know. My next question would be, you know, just given your experience as an interim town administrator, right, you're jumping midstream on a number of issues facing a community, and right, there are long-term systemic issues that are more appropriate for a long-term, full-time, permanent TA. So what are the things that you try to prioritize and focus on as an interim town administrator?
Well, I think, you know, if you look at the time of year that we're involved, it's gonna be the budget process is in forecasting and the capital plan, it seems to me. I mean, I do understand you have a terrific town accountant, so that's, you know, that's really important for someone, for me to work directly with. And your financial advisory board seems like, you know, they have a lot of capacity and capability. So I think that, you know, to me, you know, I'm going to be working on the budget. I'm going to be working on the warrant for the annual town meeting, all of those issues. And then there's always matters that are going to be coming up every single day. So, you know, relative to other priorities that you have, I would just say to you as a select board, you have to let me know what those are. And, you know, in all of the communities that I've worked in, they've always had other issues that were really important and active that had to be addressed. And so that's, I would need some guidance from the select board, and I would be glad to work in any projects that you all have that are important for you of an immediate nature.
Thank you. And with respect to your schedule and timing, you know, when would you be able to start?
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm currently down in Maryland, visiting my family down here. I'm going to be returning to Brewster on Monday, October 20th. And, you know, it depends on what you'd wish, but ideally, I'd like to, if you were to choose me, maybe talk about a start date of Monday, October 27th. And the other thing, when I did talk about, you know, answering a little bit more of your question about working somewhat remotely, I think initially I would want to be there as much as possible. You know, it's going to be really important from my perspective to meet as many of your department heads and your boards and committees sooner than later, so I can understand what their issues and concerns are.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. And I know that one thing that Peter mentioned that he does after he's concluded his time as an interim TA is that he usually puts together an exit memo, kind of suggesting possible efficiency gains or improvements. Is that something that you typically do as well?
Yeah, yes, I do. So one of the, it's sort of a pronged approach. I'll certainly be willing to do that, but also I try to keep a list of important issues and updates for the new manager. So when he or she walks in the door, I sort of have a briefing paper that I can review with the new permanent administrator and give them an update. And even in the other communities that I've worked in, I would even engage with the new, whoever you selected as the permanent town administrator before they arrived. And if that person was inclined, and in the case of the communities that I've worked in, they've all been interested in doing that. So I would have telephone conversations set up with your selected manager to update them as soon as possible when you pick somebody.
Great, thank you. And
And the same thing, by the way, even after you have a new person on board, I still actually talk to officials from the other communities that I've served as the interim, and I'm available for any communications that the new administrator might have, even after I'm finished service with your community.
yeah, no, thank you very much. We appreciate that too. And my last question for you is, I'm sure you've had a chance to, talk to Peter Moore, our current interim TA, and get debriefed a little bit. Are there any questions or concerns that you have for us before we potentially move forward?
No, I really don't. I've spent quite a bit of time going through your website and taking a look even at your town meeting warrant for Monday, I think it's October 20th. And then I've talked to Peter 2 times already. So no, I'm pretty comfortable. And as you can tell from my resume, I've sort of had a long track record in local government. And, to me, we're in a situation where you're going through some transition, and I sort of, enjoy developing relationships. Just last week before I left, I dropped into Wellfleet Town Hall because I hadn't been there for a few months, and it was really nice to sort of get a chance to talk to a lot of the people that I became quite friendly with when we were working on a number of projects together. So I enjoy local government, and I really like the idea of learning a lot about a new community and the issues and challenges that they are faced with. So.
Great, thank you. Thanks.
Hi, Mr. Sumner. Thank you for being here tonight. They had a lot of great questions. One thing we did run into with Peter is that he had some constraints on his retirement. I don't know if you have something similar where you can only do so many hours. Is that something we have to take into consideration?
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue at all. It's kind of interesting because the governor that exists on retirees, and I am a public sector retiree. I get a retirement check from Marshfield County retirement system. It's based on a calendar year. So sort of this situation is ideal for me because, I'll be working, just for a few months in the current calendar year, and then I jump into the next one. So really, I won't come anywhere near meeting the restriction thresholds, and it's based upon numbers of hours and income. So no, it's not an issue for me at all. And as I say, ideally, I'd like to talk about a 4-day work week if you think you need that. But if you needed me to work a little bit more at different times during this interim period, I'm willing to do it, and I really am not going to be impacted by the law that you
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, so.
All right, so, Mr. Sumner, just to understand it, you're looking for just a 4-day work week? In a 1 day, potentially 1 day remote? I mean,
I think ideally, I would like to talk about a 4-day work week and, in evening meetings if you needed that. If there were areas that you needed more, I'm there to do the job, so.
and then at a rate of $105 an hour, and you won't be able to start till October 27th.
Yeah, if you wanted, I could come in a couple of days during the week of October 20th. But ideally, Monday the 27th would be best, but if you need me a couple of days earlier to transition, that I can make that happen, so.
What do you think, Steve? 4 days a week, plus some evenings, if I'm understanding it right, at $105 an hour. Says start October 27th. Do we know when Peter's out the door? Is he already out the door for the most part?
I think he'll be through
Town meeting.
The,
my understanding, he's going to be here through the town meeting and maybe a portion of the next day.
Okay,
But I mean, he did say that if needed, he would be willing to volunteer his time, and particularly to bring Mr. Sumner up to speed if he succeeds Mr. Moran.
all right. So we won't be able to start October 27th, but he may be able to come in a couple of days before that. I mean, I don't know what else we're gonna do right now, to be honest with you, so.
yeah, that arrangement is pretty similar to what Peter has
Right.
right now, and that timetable syncs up relatively closely to what Peter gave us.
So you're good?
Yes.
How about you, Trish?
Okay.
You Go with it? All right, so, let me see. 4-day work week. All right, so I will motion to hire for interim town administrator Charles Sumner for $105 an hour, 4-day work week, evenings if needed, to start October 27th, and he will provide the select board with an exit memo. If that is good, do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Mr. Sumner. Welcome aboard. Look forward to seeing you as soon as possible.
Well, I just want to thank you all so much, and I really appreciate the conversation tonight, and I sincerely look forward to working with all of you and learning a lot more about your community.
Before we let you go, just one comment from town council.
Yeah, would the select board like me to put together an interim memo like I did for Mr. Moran on the terms that you've discussed tonight?
I would, yep.
Okay, all right. I'll be in touch with you, Mr. Sumner. It's Attorney Robert Galvin.
Yeah, I think we've talked once before.
We have.
Yeah, you call me at your convenience. I am available, and that'll be great.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sumner.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. What time's the concert? Is it 6:30? 6 or 6:30? They're gonna be in here.
30.
6:30? So, we're gonna see if, I don't know if everybody has their minds made up on all the articles. We'll go through them. I guess if you're not, abstain. And, I guess either maybe, if you have enough time to get information, maybe we could vote on it prior to town meeting. If not, I guess you can vote on it during the town meeting, I would say. So for Article 1, I'm not gonna read the whole article. I'm just gonna read, I think, what it is and then the explanation. Is that all right with everybody?
Yep.
Article 1, this article is required in order to pay bills from previous fiscal years. Do you have any comments or questions on this, Steve?
No, I would just say that this is a pretty typical article we
Yep.
see every town meeting, and, we already previewed the town meeting warrant with the advisory board till almost midnight, so I think the purpose of this meeting is just to get our votes on the record so that when the town meeting members look at the projection on the big screen, they'll see, well, how the select board voted, and then they'll see the advisory board as well. But I think tonight, it would be fair just to record some up and down votes since we've kind of covered these in depth already.
Yeah, it's, I don't know all of them in depth. I think the meeting that we had with the advisory board was kind of not to what it was generally in getting all the answers. Generally, the advisory board has all the answers, and then and we have a better sense. That's why I might be not up to answering a full yes or no on these anyways. So, Trish, anything for you?
No, I agree. It seems pretty standard.
All right, so,
Mr. Kelly?
yeah,
Could I just make a recommendation? When
Sure.
you're voting on the ones that you're prepared to vote on, you make a motion to favorably recommend approval,
okay.
or not to recommend, okay?
So,
So that's how
make
you-
a motion to favorably
Favorably recommend, yep.
recommend. All right, Article 1, is there a motion to favorably recommend? Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right. Article 2, the collective bargaining agreement will be in effect for 3 years, retroactive to July 1st, 2023. This would be for the Marshfield Firefighter Department. Do I have a motion to favorably recommend? Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 3 is a compensation schedule. The Article 3 explanation, the update wage schedule provides personal bylaw employees with a 2% base salary increase. The scheduled aid compensation plan is located in the Marshfield Town Code, Division 2 Personnel, Chapter 188-11. This is the same increase provided to employees with settled collective bargaining agreements for FY '26. Do I have a motion to favorably recommend? Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 If you two have any questions on anything, probably, let me know, you can ask away. Article 4 is the purpose of this article is to upgrade the Assistant COA Director and the Assistant Veterans Agent positions for parity with CBA Assistant Department Head positions. Upgrade Social Service Coordinator position due to volume and increased duties with regulations. Shine is in parentheses, addition of recreation and library position titles for positions that have always existed. In addition, a part-time COA, Social Services Coordinator, in anticipation of funding prior to the next town meeting. For me, I've sat down with Danielle going over this, and I spent some time on it, and I'd like to hear from the advisory board if they, in regard, I don't know if they put out a statement on this or not yet, so I'm not ready to vote on this. My position at the moment, and Danielle giving me what the grade increases are, would be a no at the moment, but I also would like to take in consideration what the advisory board says. So,
You could potentially put this over to Monday, if you think you'd have a decision before the town meeting, or you could just defer to the planning board, or make no recommendation.
I mean, I'd be fine with making the motion, and you can abstain, and we can.
yeah,
see
that's
how-
how I'm looking at it. I mean, I'll still, favorably recommend if you two want to roll with it, that's fine with me. So I'm gonna make a motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
I will abstain.
Aye.
Can we have a little discussion? I'm just
Oh, yeah,
wondering.
that's what
I'm-
he's doing. Oh.
Okay, well, I thought we had to make the motion before we had a discussion. I'm just curious what your line of thinking is on this, why you're not,
Oh,
If you
I sat down with Danielle.
Yeah.
And going over what another thing in government they're trying to get understand is the grade increases, what it means. So, to my understanding from Danielle is that the grade increase means that there's more responsibilities that have been put on you. And the whole thing is that going through between what Lisa Potts and I apologize for not knowing the social service coordinators for the senior center, but pretty much what they put down, they already, it's not like an added responsibility, it's just like, I think the workload just picked up. And so, my look at it, sitting down with Danielle, is that it wasn't added responsibilities, it was just that maybe it got a little busier in some things, and some things they kind of volunteer their time into doing and everything, so, that's why I wanted to, when I talked to, Mr., is it Falcara?
Valacara.
I talked to him about it, I was like, go in and get your thoughts on it, and, so I'd like to hear from you about it and everything. I told him where I stood on it and everything, so that's where I'm at right now. Did you have anything to add, Meg?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
okay.
you want to go forward with the vote?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna, motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm gonna abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Article 5. This article seeks authorization to make certain budget transfers to cover the cost of certain budget items and/or capital expenses. More detailed explanations will be provided at town meeting. Do you guys need to say anything on it? You're good.
I don't have anything to add, thank you.
Trish?
No, I'm good.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 6, explanation, the special education stabilization fund will be used to provide a buffer or wildly fluctuating special education costs out of district tuition, transportation, or any other costs as deemed necessary by the superintendent of schools. Appropriations out of the special education stabilization fund will be limited to $250,000 per fiscal year and will be made upon the recommendation of the superintendent and require 2/3 vote at town meeting. For me, this is gonna be another one that, I'm leaning no on because, the school committee, in my opinion, they should have come to the select board first to discuss this with us, which, in my opinion, was not proper of them. And I'm still trying to wrap my hands around why we're even tied into, any financial matters with the school, and everything. So, do you two have any other comments on this, where you stand on it?
No, I thought there was some good Q&A during the joint meeting with the advisory board, so I'd be comfortable moving forward to vote on this article.
All right, Trish?
I guess I agree with you. I think one thing that's been missing in our town is some dialogue between the select board and the school committee.
Absolutely.
And I think that there needs to be, and especially if they're coming to the town looking for this money. So I agree with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna, motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
I am going to say no to this.
Aye.
No.
Okay, Article 7, explanation, based on recommendations from the Town of Marshfield Capital Assessment completed by Dora and Whittier Architects, the Marshfield Public School District has submitted multiple statements of interest to the Massachusetts School Building Authority to replace the roof of Martinez Elementary School after MSBA consultants conducted a staff study. Visit and inspection in August 2024, the district was invited to perform a schematic design and feasibility study as part of the MSBA Accelerated Repair Program. The ARP focuses on the preservation of existing assets by performing energy-efficient and cost savings upgrades, which will result in direct operational savings for school districts. In order to maximize the impact of this program, districts are required to use pre-selected consultants for the project management and design. In addition, the districts are required to appropriate funding quickly in order to adhere to the accelerated project schedule, special town meeting of December 24 passed an article for the schematic design and feasibility study that was completed and submitted to the MSBA in late August 2025. Bob, do I need to read this whole
No.
thing, or?
No, if you get to an article that's long, I think I could probably give you a little quick synopsis, so.
And,
This is the
hold
proposed,
on, I just want to, Steve and Tricia, you good, not me reading the whole explanation on this? Do you guys
Yeah, I'm-
understand it?
Yes, and actually, if you don't mind, I did sit in on that meeting about the roof the other day on Zoom, and so the total cost is, I'm sorry, this is really small. I wanted to be able to tell you what the grant was. Oh, I can't even find it now.
I think, did you have that?
Oh,
I have the-
okay,
I have
it's-
the amount that you're being asked to move. I don't have the grant amount, but
So, actually, it came in under, it's $7,406,864, and the grant would be $3,644,230.
So where does that leave us at?
It's like, I didn't do the math, sorry. May I get on
Under
that?
3, was it just over 3 million?
3.6.
3.6.
Whew, thank you.
And I did get actually, I think all of us got an email from Mr. Jack Griffith. I don't know, I imagine it was the capital committee with Jack Griffith, that between the EPDM, I guess that's the covering over the roof, or a TPO, which I think the TPO may have been recommended by the judge of it, but they found out the EPDM is has a longer life to it, and that's what they've been using on buildings before. So it sounds like we may, if that's not already incorporated in the price, we may have more savings to come, depending on because the EPDM appears to be a less expensive material and more long-lasting, so.
So I believe that this is good, these numbers are good until the end of the month, because this has been pushed so many times back. So they're waiting on us to decide if we're going to put this to ballot. I'm just letting you know. So I just wanted to let you know, but that figure is good until the end of October.
What figure is that?
The figure I just gave you, and then the grant and everything.
Oh, Peter said it was good until December. We were good to not make a decision.
We can make, yes, but we have to, they want to know that we're going to bring it to ballot, that we're moving forward with it, because I guess we've pushed this decision off numerous times.
They just want to know that you're committed, that the
Right.
town is committed.
Yeah, so they're waiting for the town to vote on it, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay, yeah.
okay.
I'm not a big fan of this, just due to the fact that it's gonna be another increase on people's taxes. I think it's something that all three of us and everybody in town needs to sit down, especially next year's budget, and really crunch the numbers, because I know if I vote in favor of this, it's just gonna be all hell, holy hell breaking loose, I'm sure. But the way I look at it, sitting down with Meg and all that, and Sean, there's no other way. I think, for this session right here, we've spent $3 million of the free cash. So we only got roughly $3 million left to go into next year. And as much as I would like to use this, I think it puts us in a bad spot, so I'm open to anyone at town meeting throwing ideas out what they think we can do, but at this moment, I think we're limited, and I think we have to do this. The whole thing is, like you said, Trish, the schools need to sit down with us, and we need to really figure out our finances for the town going forward. Maybe some extreme things, and everything, so.
Well, and I also think we talked about it with Mr. Sumner, the stabilization fund. I think moving forward, looking at long-term plans is going to be helpful, but unfortunately, right now, for the here and now, we're limited.
Right, well, that's the whole thing, is that Mr. Sumner's got, that's what I was asking, because he's got so many years' of experience that, something, if he's gonna be here for 2-3 months, something like Peter's gone through the budget, did good for last April for us. Mr. Sumner, with his experience, he may be able to do something, working with Meg and Sean and all that, here's my ideas of what we can do, and something, if we can take that 3 months from him and all the experience he has, and maybe guide us somewhere until we get a new town administrator that may be able to carry that torch forward, something, why not, so, I just want to apologize to everybody out there, that doesn't want me to do this, but I have no choice, and I apologize. So I'm gonna vote, motion to favorably, recommend, Article 7. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 8, the intent of the proposed expansion of South River Park is to provide additional open space and ADA-compliant access for passive recreation. The addition of the site with 100 feet of frontage on the South River and 100 feet of frontage on 139 is a continuation of the South River Park and Greenway project that began in 2006 as an open space committee initiative to improve environmental conditions to land abutting the South River. And this money is coming from, it's all CPC funding, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you guys have any comments on it?
No, thank you.
Trish, Steve?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Article 9, the property location abutting 139 plus acres are permanently protected conservation land size, wetland resource areas, and undisturbed forested uplands that are now permitted for development. Make this a high priority for acquisition and permanent protection. The proposed subdivision will alter and affect wetland resource areas, forested uplands, wildlife corridors, and ecosystems within the site itself, as well as abutting conservation land. The addition of the property of the area will create 158 plus acre sanctuary for wildlife at the time when land is available for conservation is scarce. One house lot at the entrance of the property will be considered for affordable housing, and the balance of the property will be protected by a conservation restriction that will ensure the natural and scenic forested condition are maintained and restricted uses to passive recreation activities that do not materially impair the conservation value of the property for which it is being acquired. I'm gonna make a motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 10. This article will provide funding for renovations to the town-owned historic DW Law Office, Daniel Webster Law Office, and the museum, to include a new wood roof, new clapboard siding, and exterior paint. I have a motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Yes, do we just want to get the total sum from our staff?
Sum is $65,550.
65,000,
$550,
and that's CPC money.
correct. Coming from the historic reserves.
Yeah, because CPC has its own historic account, right?
It has a historic reserve.
Okay, everybody good?
Yep.
Okay, motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Article 11. This is for a sum of $735,000. This article seeks authorization to acquire the premises of 91 Old Colony Lane, Marshfield, a parcel zone at the airport with the former residence on the premises that is proposed for reuse as a proposed heliport. The acquisition of this property will enable the town to acquire land proposed for redevelopment and enable the premises to be the site of potential other uses, including affordable housing or other general municipal use. I'm a little concerned with the explanation on this. Acquire land for proposed redevelopment. I thought when we had the discussion, it was gonna be pretty much primarily affordable housing.
You'd have to redevelop it to make it affordable housing. It needs work. The
So when you're saying redevelop, like, what do you mean? What's the meaning of redevelopment?
The reasons why I understood the select board would be interested in it were for either to have the residents on there converted to affordable housing or for open space. That's what I understood. But I left it as general municipal purposes so that your board, no other board, could decide how the property should be.
Okay, and what was the redevelopment? What's the wording?
Well,
Is that general wording, or?
it could have been just for affordable housing, but, there's a residence on there, with some work on the property could be converted to maybe 1, 2, or more units for affordable housing. There's affordable housing next door to it already, so it'll be up to you all to decide what to do,
Okay.
how you want to use it. But the only reason we're requiring it is either for affordable housing or those general municipal purposes that you'll decide as a select board.
Okay. Everything good, Steve?
Yes.
Trish?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to favorably recommend Article 11. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 12, this article will accept the revisions of an act adopted by the state effective July 1st, 2025, which permits local boards to allow on-premise wine and malt beverages license holders to trade in their license for non-transferable on-premise all alcoholic beverages. Any questions, Steve or Trish?
No, thank you.
No, thanks.
I'll make a motion for Article 12 to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Okay, here's the big one. I'm gonna loop in, I think it's 13, 14, 15, if I'm correct, Bob, right?
Yeah, those are the loosely considered the MBTA articles.
Yeah, it's all tied into
They are.
one, right?
And there's
So-
going to be one motion presented at town meeting by the planning board.
So they're not gonna go through,
No, they'll do it as a combined motion. So when they move the articles, they'll move Articles 13, 14, 15 as written in the warrant or something like that.
okay. Any comments or questions on it, Steve?
You know, there are no good choices, just trying to chart the best possible path and outcome, so.
This is unfortunate that this has come to this. I believe everybody knows where I stand with this. Trish, do you have any comments or questions on it?
Nope.
Okay,
Can I just make a comment that might be helpful to the select board now and then in the future? Sometimes when you get to zoning articles, the select board can always have the choice of deferring to the planning board. Maybe you don't want to defer on this one, but, on general articles that, you're not really paying a lot of attention to, where you trust the planning board, you could say the motion, instead of favorably recommend, motion to defer to the planning board's recommendation. Doesn't have to be this one, but that's another option instead of favorably recommending or not to recommend.
I think everybody knows where I stand on this. I'll just put forward what we're doing, favorably recommend, and if Trish and Steve have a different opinion, then so be it,
And, if you
Or if they wanna
think that
abstain.
something might change between now and Monday, put it on your agenda for Monday and then vote it again. Or give it a town meeting. It's up to you.
All right, let me ask this question. Are you guys ready to vote on this?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to favorably recommend Article 13. Do I have a second?
13, 14, and 15.
Oh, excuse me, thank you, about 13, 14, 15. Do I have a second?
Second.
No?
Aye.
No.
Okay. Easy enough. All right. Article 16 is,
The planning board is going to indefinitely postpone these articles, so maybe you don't want to spend your time on this.
they may postpone it, but to my understanding, is there a way to override postponing articles?
Somebody else could move the article.
And what-
But it has to, my understanding is the planning board did not favorably recommend these articles.
But they're already on the warrant, so. if
Yeah,
they-
but that's not the issue. I have to double check my statute. If the planning board, I don't know, well, it depends on what, they have to give a report. The answer is, it might be possible for somebody else to still move them.
That's the word I'm getting, is that,
Yes.
I don't know about this one.
I think
it'll
you
be
can take
17,
a
but-
position on it, and then we'll just see what happens at town meeting, okay? Says your board, you can take a position on it.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll,
And I-
we'll bring it up as it
And
comes.
to be honest with you, I'm not even sure where I am with this at the moment, so, but we'll motion as follows. So, I will motion to favorably recommend Article 16. Do I have a second?
16, 17, and 18, because they're all
They're
really,
different though, aren't
they're
they?
gonna do a combined motion on these. These are articles designed to change the inland and coastal wetlands maps.
Well, yeah, isn't one inland and another one's coastal? Aren't they different in
The
essence?
reason they got combined, or potentially be combined, is because the planning board has told me that they intend to move to indefinitely postpone. If we don't move to indefinitely postpone, then the answer is we could have 3 votes on 3 separate articles. But if they're gonna be indefinitely postponed, I think the planning board's intention is to stand up and move to indefinitely postpone 16, 17, and 18 when we reach any one of these articles, because they'll be linked by the moderator.
Why did they put it on the warrant if they didn't, what is it, favorably?
I think the planning board does think it's a good idea to upgrade the maps, but there's been some controversy.
Okay,
I haven't attended the planning board meeting,
Okay.
so I can't speak to the exact nature of it, but there's a perception that maybe some of these changes shouldn't be made and some land is becoming developable that shouldn't be.
okay,
I think that's the gist of it.
that makes sense.
And the
Thank you.
planning board wanted more time to evaluate.
Okay, great.
All right, so I gotta ask you to, do you wanna vote on these separately? Do you wanna vote on them as 16, 17, 18 all together?
They would have been linked anyway, so probably just together is fine.
Wanna do them all together?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna motion to favorably recommend 16, 17, and 18. Do I have a second?
Second,
I am going to abstain.
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 Okay.
So it was 1 yes and 2 abstentions?
3 abstentions.
Three abstentions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Article 19. This article updates the zoning bylaw by replacing all references to the former Department of Housing and Community Development with the new Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, EOHLC.
Do you understand this one? This is a housekeeping item.
Yeah,
There is no more DHCD.
correct.
So where our bylaws talk about DHCD, it's being replaced with HLC.
Okay.
Housekeeping doesn't change the substance of any article.
Yeah, you just clean up.
It's a word change.
Yeah. Motion to fairly recommend Article 19. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 20, the explanation is, this article updates the zoning bylaw, replacing all references to the former Housing Partnership Committee with the new Affordable Housing Trust. And this is one, I've always, especially the way things have been going, where it's been moving from the Housing Partnership to the Affordable Housing Trust, and then I watched a Housing Trust meeting not too long ago, which there was some activity in it that kind of raised my concerns in regards to it. My look at it is that I'm not too sure if I'm ready to completely eliminate the housing partnership from our, I guess, our bylaws. So that's my thoughts on it. Steve, do you have any, or Trish, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I would consider this pretty similar to Article 19, where it's just a housekeeping clerical update that refers to the name of the new committee. Bob, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, there's some places in our bylaw where we talk about funds being given to the housing partnership for like a sidewalk fund and things like that. And the housing partnership was never legally authorized to have its own money. So the Affordable Housing Trust has some separate legal existence, so it can hold money. So
Well,
this is in the nature of a housekeeping change.
Well,
There's no-
the housing partnership, it was the planning department that held the money for them, wasn't it?
No, it was the Marshfield Housing Authority that was holding the money for them.
It was the Marshall
Like,
Housing.
money was being contributed to,
Well, it was
like,
to the planning department, and then the planning was given it to the Marshall Housing Authority, I think it was, right?
correct, to
Yeah.
hold for the housing partnership. But because the housing partnership's duties and responsibilities have been subsumed by the Affordable Housing Trust, there's no functional housing partnership right now. The housing partnership was an advisory board. The housing trust has a lot more authority. They have the authority to purchase property, sell property, develop property for affordable housing purposes, hold money, buy restrictions, give grants, all in the support of affordable housing.
I mean, could we look at the Affordable Housing Trust as something for the replacement of the Housing Authority at some point?
No, completely separate. The housing.
Well, they're separate now to a degree.
Well, the housing authority is actually only quasi-municipal in nature. Its membership has some elected officials that are local, it has some tenant officials, and it has some state-appointed officials. It actually functions independent of the town of Marshfield. They have their own council, they have their own existence, they're created by statute, although we have a place in our bylaws that recognizes them and results in us electing members to their housing partnership. They're only part of it, they're only partially part of the town. They also have independent authority.
All right. I'm still not, at least me, I'm still not comfortable with at the moment, but either way. All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to favorably recommend Article 20. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to abstain.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain as well.
Okay, Article 21, this article updates the zoning bylaw by correcting the first sentence to reflect the other two mixed-use districts allowed in the zoning bylaw. So it says, the B1 zoning district, plan mixed-use development, PUMD, in the Brant Rock Village overlay, BRVO, shall be considered a mixed-use district as defined within this bylaw. So what was it? There was a screw up the way it was written, Bob? Or-
Yes. Yeah, it was to correct an error in the bylaw.
Okay. Steve, you good with it?
Yes.
Trish?
What was
So
the mistake?
The mistake was that Marshfield has considered the B1 district, which is downtown, the PMUD, which is the Roach Brothers area, and then the Brant Rock Village Overlay District, all as mixed-use districts, but this language never got into the bylaw. So adding the PMUD and the Brant Rock Village Overlay District to the list
Okay.
of multi-use districts or mixed-use districts is needed.
Actually, I guess if you want to look into it, do you know when that happened, when they both considered mixed use?
Well, the Brant
Well,
Rock
when it's
Overlay
supposedly
District
voted
has
on?
existed for several years now, so it just didn't get put into all the spots in the bylaw by the planning board that it should have been, and it should have been identified as a mixed-use district.
Okay.
PMUD has always been a mixed-use district. It
Yep.
says it's a mixed-use district. It just didn't get into this sentence of the bylaw.
Okay. I motion to favorably recommend Article 21. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 22, the explanation, this article modifies the current retail and service number 6 by removing aircraft from the use category and combine motor vehicle sales with repairs. It will remove these uses from the RB district, leave it as a permit use in the B2 and allow it by special permit in the B3 district and by right in the industrial district. So what is it, retail and service, establishments selling new and/or used motor vehicles, motor vehicle repair or auto body shop or repair garage, not including a junkyard or open storage or abandoned automobiles or other vehicles. The business district is a B2 permit, B3, what's that, special permit, Bob? The
Yes,
industrial,
S is a special permit, P is permitted use.
and then industrial, is that I1?
I-1, yes.
That's a permit. Is this anything significant of a change, Bob? do you
Yeah,
think?
they're actually redoing the definition of retail and service use, number 6 in the existing bylaw, to take out aircraft use from the category, because they didn't think it belonged. And then they're making sure that this new combined use, which is selling and servicing vehicles, because most places that sell vehicles also service
Yep.
them, they want to make sure that that's okay, because our bylaw could be read differently. And then they're adding it as a special permit use in the B3 district, taking it out of the RB district, and adding it by right in the industrial district.
Okay, I don't see anything, nothing looks like there's anything controversial with it, especially the conversations
So
in the past, so.
what you would see is like, on Ocean Street, heading down towards Fieldston, you'd see this use not being allowed anymore. In the B2 district, which is kind of the northerly side of, Main Street and then Plain Street, that's a use by special permit. And then it would be allowed in the industrial district, which is on the southerly side of Plain Street as you head up towards the highway past like where the Starbucks is.
All right, so are we impacting any current businesses under this? Or
No,
any-
but they'll
any-
all
Any
be-
particular properties?
If there is any, I don't know of any, but if there are any, they'll be grandfathered. So you're not putting anybody out of business by
Okay,
making this
all right,
change.
let's, want to make sure of that. Okay, Steve, any thoughts or questions?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No, thanks.
Okay, Article 22, I'll motion to favorably recommend Article 22. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 23, the explanation, this article modifies the current retail and service number 16 by separating out motor vehicle repairs from gasoline sales, service stations, and the sale of convenience goods. Bob, you just want to give some thoughts on this? Or
Let me just see. 23. Yeah, again, they're modifying, separating out motor vehicle repairs from gasoline sales, service stations, and sale of convenience items.
And the purpose
They're
of that
redoing
is?
the definitions again.
It's like number 16, gasoline sales, motor vehicle, service station, not including a junkyard or open storage or abandoned automobiles or other vehicles, and including the sale of convenience
A
goods.
lot of times what we see happening is people are coming in and uses have evolved over the years, and they're saying, geez, you know, I'd like to do this type of a use, but the definition doesn't exactly fit. And I believe this is another updating of the definitions.
Okay, all right, that makes sense, okay. All right. All right, so, any comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No, thanks.
Okay, motion to favorably recommend Article 23, do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Article 24, this article would allow boat storage through a special permit to the industrial district.
Yep.
Any comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
I'm going to motion to favorably recommend Article 24, do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Article 25, this article creates a separate use category for aircraft sales and services and locates it in the airport district. Comments, Steve?
No, thanks.
Trish?
No, thank you.
All right, I'm going to motion to favorably recommend Article 25, do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Article 26, this article creates a separate use category for towing and impound storage and allows it in the industrial district by a special permit. Comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
I'm going to motion to favorably recommend Article 26.
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Article 27, explanation, this article, part of the HEROES Act, is asking residents to approve the adoption of Clause 22J under Mass General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5, which will allow the town to increase veterans exemptions up to 100%. Meg, could you highlight this a little bit?
Yeah, so this is mostly falling under it would be a combination of the assessors and the Veterans Office. So, let's see, I'm trying to find the total amount. It looks like the added cost for this would be $45,000.
To the town?
It is, but it comes out of the overlay, so we'd have to increase the overlay amount.
All right. So, I mean, say like it's a drop in a bucket, I guess you could say.
By the way, this isn't intended to take effect until next fiscal year.
27, yeah.
Oh, all right,
It
so,
won't take place this year, it'll take place in fiscal
Next fiscal year.
2027.
okay.
Right.
So this would be something that waited till April as well, then, huh?
It'll be one of those things you have to plan for and incorporate,
Right.
but it's a great idea to, you know,
Get ahead of
give
it.
the veterans their exemptions.
Absolutely. Okay, so, I motion to favorably recommend Article 27. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 28, this proposal bylaw prohibits the artificial discharge or dumping of stormwater or other types of artificial discharges of water onto abutting properties if that discharge or dumping causes flooding impacts. Anything you want to say, Steve, on this?
No, thank you.
Trish?
No.
Okay, motion to favorably recommend Article 28. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 29, this is a recodified stormwater management bylaw to meet current EPA regulations and requirements. This one's kind of a big one, right?
Yeah,
It
this
goes
is
on a few pages.
This is a requirement that we update our stormwater management bylaw to maintain compliance with our state and federal permitting. And it was drafted by an outside consultant to the Board of Public Works. It is something that we're advised to do to maintain compliance with our permitting.
Okay, I'm going to favorably recommend Article 29. Do I have a second?
Second, and then I just have one question for town council.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So this is a Board of Public Works article, but it delegates authority to the planning board in certain aspects.
Yes.
Is that gonna be a quirk or wrinkle or that we're gonna have to deal with, or is that typical?
No, it's typical.
Okay.
There are aspects of the stormwater control issues that carry into the planning board's authority during some certain types of development, so it's not unusual.
Okay.
And, you know, it's kind of favored to allow the elected board as opposed to the appointed board to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Good.
Good. Yep, thank you.
So you seconded, aye.
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 All right, Article 30, explanation. The purpose of this article is to obtain the necessary easement and to reclassify portions of town land for highway purposes in order to reconstruct the Willow Street Bridge. I'm going to motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 31, each year the DPW does a field study regarding needed repairs and upgrades of various areas of the town. Numerous repairs are covered by Chapter 90 funding. However, many critical projects are not in required funding via the capital budget. This funding is critical to DPW operation, allowing the department to accomplish several projects that require immediate attention. Without this funding, many critical projects would continue to be overlooked. $200,000 is required in order to address many of the projects that the citizens of Marshfield deem to be completed on a daily basis. And this is the repaving or smoothing out of the roads. Is that what my understanding this is?
In part. I think that.
Or is it
this
just-
is
or is it just-
Also things that they didn't have in their budget.
Or is it just the road construction, like repaving? Is that pretty much?
It is some additional public ways that are being reconstructed that Sean needs the money for, not covered by Chapter 90 funds.
Okay. I motion to favorably recommend Article 31. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 32, this funding would provide the necessary funds to maintain, repair, and replace broken playground equipment and necessary repairs to the playground as needed. This funding would also allow the DPW to hire a licensed playground contractor to make the necessary repairs as needed. I don't have a problem with funding some of this, but the whole thing is that I don't know if the 75,000 in whole is needed. Sean's explanation for it at the Select Board Advisory Board meeting was less than detailed, in my opinion. That's where I have my thoughts on it. Steve, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, in terms of the long-term problems facing playgrounds around the town, I mean, if you look in the grand scope, it's gonna be a heck of a lot more than this in the long run. So, I mean, it cost them like $330,000 just to resurface 3 school playgrounds. And there's a heck of a lot more work that needs to be done in the remaining school and general town playgrounds across the town as a whole. So in the grand scheme of things, this is really kind of a drop in the bucket as they try to tackle these problems in increments and stages. So, I would be comfortable favorably recommending this amount.
Trish?
I agree.
Okay. I motion to favorably recommend Article 32. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 33, the wastewater treatment facility has affluent pumps that are used to discharge the treated wastewater. While the pumps are periodically built, they are aging. I don't think I have to go on any further. Motion to favorably recommend Article 33. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 34, the DPW would like to replace and/or add 2 vehicles from wastewater for the wastewater department and 2 administrative vehicles. Our fleet is aging. While we maintain our vehicles, eventually the cost to repair no longer makes financial sense. It is important that our fleet can respond quickly to the needs of the town and reliable vehicles. This is something that I sat down with Meg to discuss, and I think the details and the vehicles they want need to be brought forward in regards to the money they're spending here.
Didn't they drop 2 vehicles as well?
I don't know if they would, Sean said they would at the advisory board meeting, if I remember correctly, but I don't necessarily think that's, I mean, when he says that, is that like illegally?
We still have them in, when I was writing the motions, we still have them all in there. We haven't tried to take anything out yet.
Yeah, so I would just consider that he's gonna still,
But I mean, capital budget's gonna vote on this tomorrow. You might
Okay.
want to just kind of defer
Just
until.
wait.
yeah.
Okay.
that's, so I'm gonna motion to favorably recommend. Do I have a second? Do you have any comments?
Are we deferring until Monday?
I was gonna abstain, but I mean, you wanna go for a deferred vote or something, we can do, I mean,
Yeah, I'd be fine with deferring it.
I'm
okay.
fine with that.
So I will motion to defer a vote till Monday. Do I have a second? Excuse me, on Article 34.
Correct.
Second.
Aye.
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 Article 35 is a private petition. In Article 36 and Article 37, there's no explanation, but Dave has requested money for $70,000 for annual gradings as needed for unpaved roadways in Marshfield. Do you guys feel comfortable voting on this?
Historically, the board has not taken a petition on citizen petition article, so if we wanted to be consistent with that, it'd be pretty easy to move forward.
What do you say, Trish,
Not giving our opinion?
on private petitions? Do you want to vote on it? Do you want to vote on it? Do you not want to vote on it? We have 35, 36, and 37.
I'm fine either way.
You know something? How about we defer to Monday?
Sounds good.
So I will motion to defer 35, 36, and 37 to Monday for a vote. Do I have a second?
Just one correction,
Yeah. So,
30, isn't it? It's just two, no, there's three. No, you're right, never mind, sorry.
that's
Second.
okay. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I think we wrapped everything up, if I am seeing it correctly.
Just the minutes.
Oh, the minutes, that's right. This way. So I want a motion to accept the open session minutes of September 22nd, 2025, and the September 29th, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right, it is 6:26. I want to thank everybody on October 15th. Do I have a second to close the select board meeting?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.